Have you ever found yourself reacting to a situation in a way that doesn't seem logical or aligned with the person you want to be? Maybe it's a surge of anger that feels out of proportion to the moment, or an overwhelming sadness that seems to come out of nowhere. What if these reactions aren't just random, but instead are rooted in something much deeper, something energetically imprinted within you long before you ever became aware of it? Our emotional and energetic imprints are like invisible blueprints that guide how we perceive and interact with the world around us. From our earliest relationships, especially those with our parents or caregivers, we absorb not only behaviors, but also emotions and energy. These early imprints become the foundation for how we view ourselves, others, and the world. Think back to those moments when you were a child, watching your parents argue or being praised for a particular achievement. Those experiences didn't just leave a memory, they left an energetic imprint. Those imprints form the core beliefs that shape our emotional and mental responses as adults. Whether we realize it or not, these patterns are at work beneath the surface, guiding your reactions, shaping your choices, and influencing our perceptions. Many of the core beliefs we hold about ourselves, our worthiness, capability, or how much love and support we deserve, stem directly from these early imprints. For example, if you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, based on your achievements, you might have internalized the belief that you are only worthy of love when you're performing or succeeding. Over time, this belief creates a pattern where you're constantly chasing success, not because you genuinely want it, but because it's tied to your sense of self-worth. Alternatively, if you witness constant conflict growing up, you might have an energetic imprint that makes you associate relationships with tension and struggle. Even as an adult, you could unconsciously seek out situations that replicate this dynamic because it feels familiar, even if it's unhealthy. These imprints don't just affect our relationships with others, they also influence our relationship with ourselves. The internal dialogue we carry, whether it's compassionate and loving or harsh and critical, it's often a reflection of the energetic imprints we've received in early life. One of the most profound effects of energetic imprints is that they operate largely beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. We might be aware of certain habits or patterns, but often we don't connect them to these deep-rooted imprints. This conditioning can feel like an invisible hand guiding our thoughts, emotions, and actions, even when we consciously want to make different choices. For instance, you might know intellectually that you're capable of success, but still find yourself sabotaging opportunities or feeling unworthy. This disconnect between what we know and what we feel is often the result of energetic imprints still operating in the background, influencing our perceptions and decisions. The good news is that while these energetic imprints are powerful, they aren't set in stone. By becoming aware of their presence, we can start to observe how they influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This awareness is the first step toward breaking free from past conditioning. Imagine the relief of realizing that your repeated relationship struggles or your internal sense of unworthiness aren't simply who you are, but rather the result of energetic imprints formed long ago. With this understanding, the door to change begins to open. You can start to consciously choose how you want to engage with the world rather than being driven by unconscious patterns. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you see the patterns that were previously hidden, and in that moment, you reclaim your power to choose a new path. However, it's important to understand that simply becoming aware of these imprints doesn't mean they disappear overnight. These patterns have often been reinforced for years, if not decades, and shifting them requires ongoing attention and intention. As you begin to observe these energetic imprints at play in your life, it can be tempting to judge yourself or wish that you could immediately change everything. But the process of rewriting these imprints is more about compassion than speed. It's about recognizing that these patterns served a purpose at one point, but they no longer have to dictate your future. Once you become aware of these deep-rooted influences, you gain the ability to consciously choose how you want to engage with life. You can begin to rewrite the story that was written for you by your early experiences. This doesn't mean erasing the past, but rather choosing a new way of being that aligns with your true desires and values. Imagine what it would feel like to no longer be driven by an unconscious need for approval or to finally break free from the fear of failure that has held you back for years. This kind of freedom comes from consciously choosing which energetic imprints you want to carry forward and which ones you want to release. Our emotions are deeply intertwined with these energetic imprints. Every time we experience an emotion, we're not just reacting to the present moment, we're also responding to past imprints. For instance, feelings of unworthiness, anxiety, or fear often stem from energetic imprints created in childhood, and they become familiar emotional states that we return to over and over again. However, just as these emotions were imprinted, they can also be reshaped. By becoming aware of the emotional patterns that arise in response to certain situations, we can begin to create new emotional responses. This doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing our emotions. Rather, it's about understanding their source and choosing a new way to engage with them. At the heart of this process is the opportunity to create a life that is truly aligned with who you are, rather than who you were conditioned to be. When we become aware of the energetic imprints shaping our lives, we open up the possibility of living from a place of authenticity and conscious choice. This is the essence of personal freedom, the ability to choose how we respond to life rather than being driven by past conditioning. Our lives are shaped not just by our experiences, but by the emotional and energetic imprints those experiences leave behind. While these imprints can create patterns that feel limiting or disempowering, they are not permanent. By becoming aware of these influences, we gain the power to rewrite our core beliefs and break free from past conditioning, allowing us to choose a new path forward, one that aligns with our true desires and potential. If you're ready to explore the deeper roots of your emotional and energetic patterns, the art of inner mapping from the Inner Foundation series can guide you in becoming aware of these imprints and consciously choosing a new way forward.